Okay, we're going to do domain and range. Domain goes this way, range goes this way. So our domain is all our x values and range is all our y values. And we have two forms of notation that we learned in Algebra 2. Interval notation has to do with our curved or our brackets. And our inequalities has to do with our less than or greater than signs. And how we're going to tell which one we use is if it's an open circle, this one does not include the endpoint, and our closed circle does include our endpoint. So if it's an open circle, it's going to have the curved brackets, or it's going to have the less than or greater than. If it's the one that includes the colored dot, it's going to be the square brackets, or it's going to be the less than or equal, or greater than or equal. So we're going to start with our inequality notation. We're going to start with domain. And I find it really helpful if you can just use a highlighter and go through and highlight on there. So pick your two favorite colors of highlighter. And the first domain goes in the x direction. We said that here. So it stops right here. So I know it stops there. And then it goes this way all the way to the end. In the y direction, I know this arrow keeps going down here. So it goes all the way to the bottom. And then it goes all the way up, and then it stops even with this one right here. So it stops right there at 4. So in my domain, that's the green direction. The inequality notation comes everything that's less than 7. So to write that, I'm going to say x is less than 7. And because this is a colored dot, I'm going to include the less than or equal to 7. The range is the pink one. And so that is everything less than 4. So that's the y less than or equal to 4. My interval notation, this end is negative infinity, this end is positive infinity, the bottom is negative infinity, and the top is positive infinity. So I start at negative infinity and I go over to 7. Negative infinity, it's going to be a curve because I can't actually get to a negative infinity. And it's going to be the square bracket because I'm including the end. Then my range is this direction, so it starts at negative infinity, and it goes all the way up till I hit 4, and then it includes the 4. And then is this a function? Well, for is it a function, I can do my vertical line test. It's not a function if it fails my vertical line test. So let me draw this one again. So on here, if I draw a vertical line, it only crosses one time. Here, if I draw a vertical line, it crosses 2 times, so this one is not a function. This is a function, not a function, fails the test. Alright, so this one, anytime I draw a vertical line, only going to cross once, so this one is a function. My x-intercepts, also known as zeros, also known as roots, are wherever it's crossing the x-axis. So that's right here, and right here, and right here. So that's at -5, -3, and 6. My y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. That's right here at -2. Alright, so let's do one more example. So this one, my x, it starts over here at negative, and it comes over, and the only place where there's not part of my function is right in between these parts here. So it comes over to this part, and then it starts here, and it goes over to this part. Then in my y direction, it's actually everything, because this keeps going all the way down, and then if I look, this comes all the way up here, but this one is overlapping going up all the way up, so this goes all the way. So my domain is going to be in 2 parts, this part and that part. This part over here is where x is less than or equal to, because it's got a colored dot, -1, and I also have this part over here where it's x is greater than 0. I'm not going to include the 0 because that's an open circle, so I'm not going to include that part. Now my y is everything here, so that one's easy. Y is an element of the real numbers. All right, my interval notation is going to